Effect of New Employee Onboarding Implementation at Mountain View College. This research proposal is presented by Esteban Sosa as part of MCOM 5364 Research Methods at Texas Tech University. I'll provide a quick introduction to new employee onboarding and what that means for our institution. So the research site is Mountain View College, located in Dallas, Texas. We serve just over 10,000 students, and we were founded in 1970. We are like many other community colleges around the nation, in that we have a well-defined recruitment process. We post positions and then share or showcase those positions. Submissions are screened by our Human Resources Department, and they in turn form search committees comprised of a variety of employees, faculty, and staff across the institution. Those committees conduct the interviews, and then ultimately a job offer is made, and that hiring and paperwork process is ensured to be completed by our Human Resources Department. So that's a very well thought out process that is continuous. Where we need help or intentional efforts that go beyond the recruitment process is that we need to focus more on the clarification of the job duties and responsibilities so that every new employee knows exactly the position that they're getting into. We need to ensure that supervisors are trained so that they deliver a consistent experience for new hires. We, the institution, need to provide an overview of the organizational culture to include the college mission, vision, and values. And we need to ensure that new employees feel a connection to the institution and are engaged in a variety of ways. Although companies place intentional efforts into the recruitment process, just like us, new employees are sometimes welcomed to new jobs with just a handshake and directions to their workstation. We don't want that to be the reality for every new hire at Mountain View College. What the literature tells us is that employee turnover costs organizations over $25 billion a year. The cost to recruit and train a new employee costs over 500 times an hourly worker's salary. And although retention strategies reduce turnover and retention costs, few organizations have retention strategies in place. Organizational culture plays a significant role, and authentic mission statements can both attract and retain employees based on a shared value system, and that money satisfies the employee, but it is not sufficient to retain the employee, meaning that it is an insufficient factor. Some of the research questions that we posed, especially in our initial research, was what are key attributes that contribute to employee longevity? How do we ensure an employee is prepared from day one? How do we hire the right people? And are supervisors orienting employees in a similar manner? Our finalized set of research questions are, to what extent have consolidated new hire dates positively supported the formal onboarding process? To what extent are new employees prepared to be successful? And to what extent have supervisors supported new employee onboarding? The research methods that we'll utilize are quantitative research process, spanning 3 months of the new hire process. We'll conduct experiment to randomly select from the treatment, which is a new onboarding process, and the control group, which are previous hires and not part of our new onboarding experience. We'll provide a cluster sampling to divide those hires, and we'll set parameters to exclude those who have been employed at the institution for longer than 5 years. We will have a post-test only experimental design that will rate a variety of new hire elements to compare cause and effect relationships. That will be distributed via an online survey, and all questions will be Likert type scales. So it will range from strongly disagreeing to strongly agreeing. Actual survey questions include the following. My new hire paperwork and all required forms were easy to complete. I was provided with a complete overview of my job responsibilities. And I was introduced to the history of the college, unique elements of organizational culture, and different ways I could engage in and around the community. What we'll do with our findings from this quantitative study, in which one-way analysis of the variance will be utilized, we will examine the differences on the single independent variable, the presence or lack of the formal onboarding process, The potential impact of our findings is that it will halt or fully implement the cohort-based hiring dates, meaning that employees will either continue to start on the 1st and the 15th of each month, or will go back to the previous method, which was hiring on an as-needed basis. We'll maintain or develop further supervisory training program if the results of what we've started are successful. And lastly, we'll maintain or adjust the organizational chart to support staffing needs of the new hire onboarding program. In particular, the staff between the Professional Development Office and the Human Resources Office are beginning to collaborate, and because of this shift in delivery, that might require more staff on the HR side. How this impacts future research is that the modality in which we deliver all of this training and orientation will either continue to be face-to-face, or we will look at a blended option, a flipped option, or an option that is completely online. Next, we'll look at part-time hire inclusion as part of this onboarding program, whereas now we're currently focusing on full-time hires. And lastly, we'll look at the recognition timeline practices to see if we need to move up our recognition to 1 year of completion or 2 years versus the 5 and 10-year points that are currently in practice. Some of the references involved in this research include the following. I would like to thank Mountain View College, specifically the Office of Professional Development, the Office of Human Resources, and the Office of Institutional Effectiveness, and lastly, Dr. Landrum from Texas Tech University for this opportunity. Thank you very much for reviewing this proposal.